what's up guys? Thought I would do a little video today talking about my viewpoints on my views on the animals. So, I know what a lot of people think of me, they think, I'm a troll and a hater, and, and I admit, yeah, I'm a lot of things, I'm a troll, a hater, a stalker, and to be honest, I know that's what the iFan think of me, but to be honest with you, I don't really care what the iFan think of me, and I've never really cared about that. I've never really cared about what the iFan think of me, because as far as I'm concerned, I never have and never will value their opinion of me or value what they think of me, because, I say I'm many things, but the one thing I'm not is a supporter of child exploitation, which is basically what a lot of the IFAM are. They're basically supporters of child exploitation. They're basically supporting the exploitation of innocent children. And it's gotten to the point where they can't say that the kids are not being exploited, because it's become very clear to see that the kids are being exploited for money. I think anybody with an ounce of decency can see that, or with an ounce of common sense, can see that the kids are being exploited for money. And it's like, at the end of the day, you can only ever see, you can see it's more about the money, it's, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, you can see that the Inhams are only in it for the money. They're not in it for anything else. And I think anybody with an ounce of decency would say that, I think they would look at that and go, well, this just isn't okay, this is not right. And I think, that is a valid point that really does have to be made, that really does have to be made. It's like, the IFAM honestly think that anything they say really gets to me, because it actually doesn't. Because as I said, I don't care about what the iFan think of me, and I never will care about that. I know what the iFan think of me, I know what the iFan think I am. But, I'd rather be as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather be a troll and be a hater than be a bodyguard for be a bodyguard for one of the most controversial families on YouTube. I don't think the iFan really do actually realise how bad it makes them look, the fact that they're willing to be a bodyguard for one of the most controversial families on YouTube. And I'll say that the Inhams are one of the most controversial families on YouTube, because they are. I will say it's not really the kids, it's more the parents who are obviously incredibly controversial, because we all know what Chris did, we all know that he's guilty, but we all know that he's guilty, we all know that he absolutely 100% did what he was accused of. There's no denying that. But of course the iFan will say he didn't do it, it will say that he's innocent and will believe every word he said. But as I've said before, this dog, every time I try to record a video, he interrupts me. Lady! No. No barking. I can't do a video. So she was barking and someone put something through the door, so that's what that was. But yeah, let me go back to recording my video. So, as I said, you know, I'd rather be a troll and a hater than be a bodyguard for someone like that. You know, it's not hard. I mean, you know, what the IFAM need to realise is that just because, you know, as I've said in previous videos, just because Chris said he didn't do what he did, he didn't do what he was accused of, and has said that the allegations weren't true and things like that, doesn't automatically mean that he's innocent of anything. Doesn't automatically mean that he is actually telling the truth. You know, you think about the fact, you know, people in the IFAM will always say, oh, well, he was never charged with anything, does that not prove anything? We all know that him being charged, that was down to him being innocent. We all know that the only reason that Chris wasn't ever charged with anything was because of the girl's age. You know, we all know that had she been younger, had she been, 13, 14, you know, things would have been taken a lot more seriously than they actually were. You know, it would have been seen as an offence. You know, he probably would have actually committed a crime, and he would definitely have been banned up for that. You know, it's like just because he wasn't charged with anything doesn't automatically mean that he's innocent. We all know there was only really one reason why he wasn't charged with anything, and it was because of the girl's age. We all know that had that girl been younger, he would have been arrested and charged with various offences. But that's simple as that. You know, whenever I hear these family vloggers say that they're only doing YouTube to create memories and things like that, I piss myself laughing because I know that's not true. You know, it's not just about creating memories for them, it's only ever been about making money. You know, that's all it's ever really been about, you know. And, you know, it's no lie to say, you know, I don't think people would be wrong for saying that his being in the vlogs means that the videos means that the videos get more views, which results in the parents making more money. But let's face it, if the kids weren't in the videos, the parents wouldn't be making as much money as they are. That's the only reason that these parents are making a decent amount of money, if they have their kids in the videos. If they didn't have their kids in the videos, things would be very different for them. You know, they wouldn't get as many views, they wouldn't be making as much money. You know, for them, having their kids in the videos is a massive game changer for them, because it means they're getting more money and more views. So it's a win, so at the end of the day, them having the kids in the videos is a massive win. It's a win-win for them. You know, it is a win-win situation for them, because it means that it ultimately means that they're making more money and more views. So I don't get how that's not considered a win-win. I would consider that a win-win. A lot of parents consider it a win-win. You know, it's become so obvious with a lot of these family vloggers that the kids are the only reason for their success. You know, and that they wouldn't be what they are, or they wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for their kids. You know, it's their kids that are enabling them to live these kind of luxury lifestyles they're living. it's these kids that have funded that, and it's these kids that are the reason that they have that they have that money. Which is why I won't ever be jealous of these family vloggers, no matter how much money they actually have, because we all know where that money's coming from. We all know how they're making that money, and they're making that money from exploiting their kids and broadcasting their kids' lives on social media for public consumption. And that's not really anything to be proud of, the fact that they're basically making money from exploiting their kids. And when you think about the fact that people are actually supporting that, and are actually constantly trying to deny the fact that these parents are doing that, it's actually hilarious. Because it's gotten to the point where it can't be denied, where that fact alone can't be denied. That they are basically exploiting it into money. That is what a lot of these family vloggers are doing. And the Yinams are a very good example of that. It's like, people like the Yinams, the Honey Jolies, the Family Fears, the Dad V Girls, the Sullivans, the Radfords, the LeBron family, of course. What a lot of these family vlogging channels have in common is that they wouldn't be as successful as they are without their kids, and that their kids are the only reason why they are as successful as they are, and their kids are the only reason why they have what they have. Their kids are the only reason why they are where they are financially. Why they're financially better off. It's ridiculous that people can't see that these kids are being exploited. Of course, there are some people that will deny that until they're blue in the face, because that's what some people do. The problem with the IFAM is I feel like none of them are not, that some of them aren't really old enough to really understand what child exploitation is. Obviously they're very quick to deny that these kids are being exploited, but do they actually understand what child exploitation is? Well, I don't think any of them do. I don't think any of them actually understand what child exploitation is and why it's so wrong. And they're happy to attack people when people call the parents out for doing that, for exploiting. When these people, when people call these parents out for exploiting their kids, Hookers and Sarah out for exploiting their kids. If I'm happy to jump on them and shut that down and say no, they're not doing that. But it's like, do they actually understand what child exploitation is? They're very quick to say no, to say they're not doing that, but do they actually understand what it is? Is the big question. I think we can see that it is being exploited. It's pure and simple. I kind of feel, as I've said before, I do feel sorry for those kids, because it feels like they don't have a single ounce of privacy in their lives. And when I look at the kids, it's like they've never really had any privacy in their lives. Every single part and every single aspect of their lives has been, shared online for public viewing and and been broadcasted on social media for public consumption. It doesn't feel like there's anything that's ever been kept private. It feels like every single solitary part of their life has been, filmed and broadcasted online for social media. This is the problem with a lot of these family vlogging channels, is it doesn't feel like the children are actually allowed to have anything that's kept private. It feels like, every single thing is always shared and broadcasted online and used for content. That's what it feels like, is that it feels like the parents use every single thing, every single part of his life for, as vlog content. It feels like it's like we're the one. It's frustrating the fact that apparently we're the ones in the wrong. Yeah, people are supporting the fact that these kids are basically that these parents are basically exploiting their kids and basically monetizing every single part of their and every single aspect of their kids' lives. Which is what the problem is here, is the fact that these parents are basically exploiting their kids and monetizing every single part and every single aspect of their kids' lives. It's like it's just horrendous. And it's like, you think about the fact that the younger ones as well, like Jace, Mila, Aurora, I mean, you think about their ability to consent. Should they really be on social media? Is it really wrong for me to be saying that kids should not be being filmed for anything that's related to social media until they are actually old enough to properly consent to that and to properly understand what they're consenting to? And to properly understand the ramifications of them consenting to something being shared online and what that actually means. And what them consenting to that means. When I think about Jason Miller, I sit here and I think to myself like, do Jason Miller actually fully understand what it means when they're actually consenting to something being shared online? But they probably don't, to be fairly honest. But when you think about it, right, it's like, since when has a kid's age and ability to consent ever actually mattered to Chris and Sarah? You can see that that's something that's never ever mattered to them, or that's not something they've ever cared about, and it's not something they ever will care about, And I don't think people like myself are wrong for calling them out over that. I think it's a good thing that people are willing to say, well, what the heck are they doing? But, it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. I honestly don't know what else I'm supposed to say at this point. But it is frustrating, the fact that people think it's okay for these parents to be exploiting their kids and monetizing every single part and every single aspect of their kids' lives. That it's actually sad to think that there are actually people out there who are supporting that, basically. That's what the situation is here, is the fact that people are actually supporting that. People are actually saying that that's okay and that's acceptable for parents to be doing that. But it's not. These kids should not have to put up with every single part of their lives being broadcasted online for public consumption. They should not have to put up with their parents monetizing every single part and every single aspect of their lives. They shouldn't have to put up with every single little thing being shared online and being used for vlog content, which is what these kids are putting up with every single day. They're basically having to put up with every single part of their kids' lives being shared, every single part of their lives and every single aspect of their lives being broadcasted all over social media for public consumption. And it feels like the kids don't have any control over that. It feels like they don't have any control. It feels like they don't have any real control over what is or isn't shared online. This is what my problem is. This is what my issue is. It feels like it's these days. It feels like kids don't really have any control over what their parents do or don't share online, and that's like the point that I'm trying to make. Is it feels like they don't have any control over that. It feels like they have no kind of it feels like something they should have that control over is, they should have that control over what is or isn't shared online, but they don't have that control over that. And it's really quite sad to think about, but it's something that has to be said. It's a point that has to be made, because it's a valid point. They don't have much control over what is or isn't shared online. And I think a lot of people around on the sense would say that, to be honest. You know, I don't feel like a bad person for for the fact that I'm willing to call these people out and say, well, what the hell are they doing? Because as far as I'm concerned, someone had to say it. And if that person is me, then so be it. I will say what has to be said. I'm not someone that avoids saying the things that needs to be said without, for fear of offending or upsetting anyone. I don't give a damn if people are upset or offended by what I say. I'm here to speak the truth. Simple as that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.